Hello everyone, this is Moby the Yarny, and no, I'm not in my studio, I'm in my kitchen, and today I'm starting my secrets of the dough, and I am starting with my sugar cookie dough, and we will be doing some Valentine's cookies. So I'm Moby the Yarny, and if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by, and today's a different segment. So I basically use 4 different doughs for my cookies, and the sugar cookie dough is the basic, but you can make multiple cookies with sugar cookie dough. So I'm going to make 2 different ones today. So I'm going to read to you the recipe first of all. And I will put the recipe in the description box. Now today I'm going to be making a half batch, but the recipe I've used for years. Now the funny thing is I had my own bakery business for 25 years, and I learned to start baking from a home ec teacher when I was 12, and I learned to crochet from a home ec teacher when I was 14. So kudos to the home ec teachers. Don't give up on your jobs. So the recipe states here, use 2 cups of granulated sugar, but I am going to give you secrets to these recipes that are not written on the recipes. Some of them have them on here, but I haven't written them on all of them. So you have 2 cups of granulated sugar, 2 sticks of butter, 2 eggs, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and that's it for this recipe. Now, this is if you want a soft cookie. Now, if you want a crispy cookie, you're going to want to add your cream of tartar. And if you like those, like this time of year and around Thanksgiving and the holidays, Christmas, they have those thick cookies with the big frosting on them in the stores. Now those cookies have milk in it, so you're going to want to add like 2 teaspoons of milk to your dough, and then those have to be refrigerated for a while before you use that dough. So this is the recipe I have used for years, and everyone likes them. I still have people that a couple years ago, someone went through 7 people to ask for one of the cookies I'm going to show you today. So let's go ahead and get started. They're not hard, so let's just get down to business here. Okay, so I already have 1 stick of butter in here because I'm doing a half recipe. So first of all, this is the first secret I'm going to tell you. Make sure all your ingredients are room temperature. Now it's hard this time of year with it being cold here. So my butter was not soft enough, so I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds under the defrost, and it got it to the temperature that I need it to be. So I'm going to cream together the butter and the sugar only, nothing else, just butter and sugar. So I'm only using half a recipe, and that would be 1.5 cups of white granulated sugar, but you can cut down that sugar because I'm cutting it down to one cup because we don't need all that sugar, and it'll still taste good because we are going to be dipping them, so it's going to be good. So I'm going to be using my hand KitchenAid, and I did sling dough on it when I made the other ones. So I'm just going to cream them here. We want to get them creamed really well. Okay, that's good for now because it is soft. Forgot my spatula. Okay, we want to scrape it down after each thing we do, but you can tell that they are. Now, I used to do my doughs by hand all the time, but now with all my arthritis, forget it. And then I'm going to add, what I have here is my 1 egg and my vanilla. So we're going to add that right in, and then we're going to get that all nice and soft. Okay, now we've got to make sure there's no grains. We don't see any grains from that sugar. It's creamed nicely. Now we're going to add our flour. I was going to measure that out, but I want to show you how you measure that flour. I keep my flour in big tubs because I do major baking a lot, but not so much anymore because of my health issues. But I'm going to move this over for a minute. Now, when you're getting your flour, you don't want to pack it. Here's my flour. This is what we do. We're going to fluff it, and then when I get it, I'm going to shake it off. We don't want to pack it. We're going to do 1.5 cups. Fluff it, shake off the extra. You pack the flour down, you're going to have a very doughy tasting hard cookie. We don't want that. We want a nice soft cookie. We don't want a floury tasting one. Now in this here, I have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So we're putting those in. And then I want to mix it around a little bit because I don't want it all over me when I start this mixer up. You could finish it by hand here if you wanted to, but we don't have a lot of time like that, so we're going in again. Start it slow, and then we're going to speed it up. Okay, now it might look lumpy, but this is good how it is right now, because if you press it down, it's going to come together into a nice dough. All right, and right now, while it's in here, I'm going to divide it in half because we're only going to work with half of it at a time. And what we're going to do here, I've got crumbs slung everywhere. We're going to use some plastic wrap here. We're going to divide our dough into 2 portions. I'm just going to shape it into a little ball. Put that there. Cover this because we have to refrigerate this for at least a half an hour before we start working with it. Because if you start working with it now, here's another secret, it's going to be very sticky. You're going to want to add flour to it to try to work with it, and then you're going to end up with a tougher, doughy cookie, and we don't want that. Okay, Then these are gonna go in the refrigerator for at least a half hour. Okay, so that's Saved by the Magic of Television. We've had them in there for a half hour. Now we have our dough that I made previously, and we are not taking that off the plastic. We're going to leave it on there. And we're going to get another sheet. I think I'm going to use that as the top one because it's a little bit short. I'm going to put another piece down. This is going to save you some time, and it's going to save you some mess by doing it this way. And we're going to put that down. And before I use my rolling pin, I'm going to push this down with my hand just to soften the dough and get it out to the length that I want. Now, when I first started making these cookies, I would go to town with the flour and the rolling pin, and then I'd end up with a floury cookie. But over the years, I learned to do it this way, and then I wouldn't have a mess, and then the cookie would taste better. And those are some of the secrets I learned. And then now I can go in with my rolling pin. We don't want to roll over the edges that much. And then we can just turn it. And then you can get it to the consistency that you like. Now, if you like a chewier cookie, softer cookie, don't roll it out that thin. If you like a crispier cookie, you can go a little bit thinner with it. But doing it with your hands, you can feel a little better, and then you can see how thin it is. Now I have some different cookie cutters here. This is a really old one that a friend of mine gave me about, I'd say 30 some years ago, and I don't think they really make them anymore. And then I have these here, so I'm gonna go with this one right now just because they make more cookies, and who needs a giant cookie that big? Okay, so we're gonna leave it right on the plastic for now. And I'll show you why we're going to leave it on the plastic. Okay, so we got like 6 of them here. We'll do a couple more. And I have a pan all ready to go. Cookie sheet here. Okay, there it is. Where did I put my spatula? Okay, so with them being on the plastic, you can just peel them off and stick them on, and make sure you give them space on your pan. I'm giving them space because they will expand some, not too much, but enough. And then by using the plastic wrap, you are not adding any more flour to your dough. Then you can put that dough back together, make another batch. But in this case, I'm going to show you our second cookie that we're going to do with this dough. Okay, and they come right out, and that's the thickness of them. Okay, so when we're done with them, we can just smush them back in. You can put it back in the fridge if you don't want to make any more right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll them into a ball. Now, I invented these by accident because I used to make thumbprint cookies all the time. And I didn't like shortbread, so I would use the sugar cookie dough. So you roll them in a ball about this size of a buckeye. If you guys, I don't know if you guys know what buckeyes are. We're from Ohio. We have buckeyes, which are peanut butter balls. And yes, we make a lot of them. Sometimes I make 300 at Christmas time. I didn't make any this year because I was sick. My grandkids and I were going to make them, but we didn't get a chance to do that. Okay, so I think that's good for now, just to show. And I'm going to wrap this dough up and set it aside. Bring this over here, because I do have another tip for this. Now I just put a little bit of a cooking spray on the back of this, and then I wiped it off. And then we're going to push this down, and then it kind of slides right out. So it gives us a little dip. Now, if you don't like what I'm going to put in here, then you can put your own in there. Something that you like. But this is my chocolate covered cherry cookies. And I would put maraschino cherries in it. I'm going to drain these real quick because they're giving me problems here. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to put these right in this little dip. And then both of these cookies bake at the same time. So 350 for 10 minutes, and that's it. They're going to go right in the oven for that. Okay. So, and at the magic of television, here's what they look like when they come out. Now these do spread out, and here's what they look like in the bottom. And they're good the way they are. And the way I like to do them, which I have a pot of chocolate. Now I had a wonderful mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law blessed me and gave me, she had lifetime pots, but she had something she never used, which was her double boiler. And I have been using it for 30 years. And I use it for my chocolate. I do lots of chocolates, the Buckeyes I would make, and chocolate covered pretzels. And sometimes we put cheese in here. But, so this is the way I will half dip these. Just put them in, shake off the extra, and then you lay them right on the parchment. Same thing with these. Now, these are my favorite cookie at Christmas time. I would do the Christmas shapes, and I invented these by accident because I was making thumbprints. But I ran out of jam, and I put the cherries in one year, and then somehow they got chocolate slung on them. But I'm like, why not chocolate covered cherry cookies? And then I just sling chocolate on them like this, and there are people who love these cookies. I used to have a booth at the flea market, and these would sell out every time, and they don't have to be perfect. That's the one thing about it. Who's going to complain about extra chocolate on their cookies? Nobody. Even if I get big globs on there, nobody cares. Okay, and then I like to set them in the freezer for a little bit. Okay, so I have some that I put in the freezer, and there's just one more step for these chocolate covered ones. I mean, for these and that I'm gonna need this. Yes, I forgot. Now, there's one more thing I need to do to these. I just almost put pancake batter on these. I have all these giant lock and locks with all my baking stuff in it. I'm always getting them mixed up. Even though I write on the top what they are. And then I like to sprinkle some powdered sugar over the top. Okay, so who would not want these for Valentine's? We have some of these. And then I made some of the bigger ones earlier. And if you don't like chocolate, you could just put some frosting. And that would be a nice Valentine present for anyone if you want to make it yourself. So that's the secret of my sugar cookie dough. Most people prefer like my chocolate chip or peanut butter, but that'll be another time. Or you could just have this pot of chocolate right here. But if you have leftover chocolate, you could dip pretzels in it with sprinkles, or there's all kinds of stuff you could dip in chocolate. Potato chips, really good. But that is my first secret of the dough. Hopefully I gave you enough secrets, but I hope you try this recipe and I hope you enjoy it. But thank you for joining me today. And this is Moby the Yarny. And if you like this recipe, please give me a thumbs up. And I hope to see you on Tuesday with Mo. And next Thursday I will try to get another cookie recipe out. And if any of my grandkids are watching, please come over and get these cookies, because Poppy and I can't eat them. Thank you very much.